We are live.
We are live. And alive.
We are live. We are alive. We are going to thrive. I am going to avoid beehives because I'm scared of bees ever since that movie, My Girl.
Are you scared of bees for real? I just adopted a bee.
100% I'm scared of bees, and 100% it's because of My Girl, and 100% I expect you to support me in this.
I support you, but I just adopted a bee. I named her Dolly Pollen.
Okay, well, I feel a bit betrayed by this information, but I will survive.
But honeybees are good for you. They help the world thrive.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends. We are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma, the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm and the sorceress of sass. I am the ghost. She is the coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. We are the best friends in all the land. We are the Heel Marks, welcoming you to the best Ring of Honor post show in all the land. This is Mark of Honor, your go-to when you finish Ring of Honor and you'll want to talk to the Heel Marks. This is where you go. Guys, wherever you're watching on the BodySlam.net network, go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the comment button, and be a part of the conversation. Of course, don't forget to donate a super chat over to slamchats.com. We look forward to hearing from you just as much as I look forward to hearing from Danielle. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor all night long. Maybe not all night long, but definitely for a little while.
For a tad.
Right.
Tad.
I mean, I thought we were going to be watching Ring of Honor all night long because it used to be a 2-hour show. And then it was like a 1 hour and a half show. And now it's just a flat hour.
You would think they would want it to be 2 hours since they have to build up for Supercard, which I would assume they're trying to do for WrestleMania weekend, but I guess they're not doing that.
Yeah, super weird timing of it all. I'm curious as to like the reasons why.
Right.
Like if there were certain things, like maybe they just because they tape these at AEW tapings or AEW live shows. If there was something where maybe certain people couldn't get to a show, so they couldn't do it, or maybe they're just kind of like, you know what, we're not even going to hide the fact that we're kind of, this is our D brand show. This is our developmental. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing things out there.
I don't know. I call this the predictability show.
Right.
It's very predictable, which is fine. I don't mind predictability occasionally. I mean, the first match.
It's a televised indie show, you know?
When
you go to an indie show, for the most part, you can kind of tell who's going to win, who's going to lose, based on bigger name, based on if there's a story, you can kind of still put the pieces together. You're there for the show, though. You're there for the spectacle. It doesn't matter if you have no idea who A is and you know B is going to win. You'll want to see him go for 15 minutes. If they can keep you entertained bell to bell. And
Absolutely.
that's kind of what Ring of Honor does. They put people together. It's not always stories. There's not always a reason for them to be wrestling. But even if you know this person is definitely going to beat the other person, you know you're going to get 10 to 12, maybe 15 minutes of entertaining in-ring action.
Nicely put. I agree.
I did hear you trying to take us into the opening match, though. Surprised that you would want to start with that, only because, as a contrast to what we've become accustomed to the past few weeks, granted, it was only an hour, but this was our only ladies match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of was segueing to it because it was a surprise.
Right. No. You're right. With the TV title tournament, now that they're in round 2, these are the matches where we really don't know who's going to win. It's harder to pick. A bit more exciting if you want to put money on them. These could totally fly.
I mean,
and as I think you were alluding to, this was one of, if not the only match that you kind of didn't really know who was going to win.
yes. I picked Queen Aminata because you were like gun ho, Danielle. You said she's winning the whole thing. Because remember, originally I was like, all right, it's probably Taya. I was very weird.
I had inadvertently changed your mind over to Taya, and then I had to put my foot down and say, absolutely not. You get on your side.
Well, I'm glad because now I got the W. It was interesting and surprising, and I'm okay with it.
I was laughing so hard when it happened. I'm like, I cannot believe that I gave Danielle the W.
Yeah, you gave me a W. You love giving me W's.
I force fed you that W. I was
What's funny is my reaction to it was Brady is not going to let me live this down. He's going to be like, well, I gave you the win. That's all I kept thinking. I was like, he's not just going to let me have this. Even though I said she was winning the whole thing. You are 100% just going to not going to let me live it down.
No. You picked it from the start. However, without me being the Mickey in your corner, you would not have had what it took to become the Italian stallion. Okay?
Mickey's a mean guy.
You could have been a contender, right?
I was also very surprised
last week. Danielle, you could have been a contender. You stick with your guts. You stick with the queen.
I was just doubting myself, and you pulled me back in. I appreciate you. That's why we're best friends in all the land.
Right.
I was surprised that this was the first match. Since we're doing a women's tournament, I was very surprised. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to have more women's matches. I was like, oh, we're not. So
right.
This was the first match.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, there was no real warning that it was going to be an hour show, only because, granted, every match was promoted by Ring of Honor at a time. Every match got a picture heading. Every match got a tweet. But that's not always the case every week. You know, right. A lot of times they'll only tweet 5 matches, and then you get another 3. So once again, we didn't really have warning that this would be our only TV title tournament match, despite it being the only one promoted for tonight. So when it came out, I wasn't as surprised. I kind of thought it was a hot opener. But fast forward to an hour later, I was shocked that they did decide to lead with our one and only women's match.
Especially it's a one and only women's match. And essentially, Aminata broke the streak of Taya being undefeated in singles matches.
Right.
So, like, that's a big deal, too.
It's another thing. So the way this works, though, is Aminata in the finals now, or she's in the semis? Because there's only like 4 matches left, right?
I think this is the quarterfinals. So now we have the semifinals. Yeah.
Okay, right. Because there's 4 matches, so she'll have to face one other person to get to the finals. Yeah, so it's like another case of where, like, I'm curious to see how the brackets end up, like when the whole thing's over. Only because it definitely seems like there's certain matches they could have waited, they could have pushed around back.
So right, definitely. I'm just curious. Did they announce when they're doing the women's? I can't remember the women's TV. Is it going to be at Supercard? Because then I feel like you're only having 1 match a week. I mean, it's only 3 more weeks.
I think that's why they did this. I think that's why they only had 1 match tonight, and I think that's probably why this show was only about an hour long. And if I had to guess, I'd say next week we'll probably have the same thing. I think they might do that, whereas their build to Supercard of Honor will be around the TV title tournament, kind of just having 1 match a week to have that slow build. Maybe we'll get more promos from the ladies that are still in it to kind of build that, but it does kind of seem like that's what they're doing.
Side note, I did love when Johnny TV was like, hands off the merchandise. I thought that was really funny.
That was a good one, yeah.
He said really funny things. You have to like listen to them.
He's such a cartoon character. Like, he's such a ham.
I like it. I'm fine with it. I think it's fun.
No, it's great. It's just I can't help but feeling like it's what has held him back and continues to hold him back.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, because he can go. He's not a bad wrestler.
No, he's a fantastic wrestler. And like when he was first getting started in WWE, a lot of things he was doing had never been seen before. I remember like I forget his season of Tough Enough was 3, I think, right? Yeah. On Tough Enough 3, there's like certain they were just getting started doing the top rope stuff, and most people were doing like, the moonsaults, drop kicks, basic starter stuff, and he does a shooting star press, but he ends it with a leg drop. And I'd have to do research to confirm if Al Snow was telling the truth, but Al Snow was saying, "Wow, I've never seen anyone in the history of wrestling do that extra rotation and do that combination." Like he was kind of putting Johnny TV over back then as a innovator in the high flying style, which. Right. He was, I remember he did like a breakdance move into a leg drop. Like he did bring a lot of things to the table, but due to just different things where it's like starting stops and then leaving and coming back and this and that, I feel like a lot of like the Young Bucks kind of surpassed him in the list of high flying innovators in the ring. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot
definitely.
of yeah.
Definitely. He also, like, for me, when I first saw him, I thought he was something to see too, and kind of an innovator, because like I didn't really follow other wrestling besides WWE. So seeing a guy his size doing flips like that and adding an extra and being a high flyer, like usually I was used to like smaller ones.
And you weren't able to count all of his abs. Like it was impossible.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
it was just
27,982 abs.
Like I was a big action figure guy. He's the type of action figure I would just pick out from Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And like that, like, you know what I mean? Like, and play wrestling.
Definitely.
So it was just, and when him and Miz get paired up, everyone was saying Miz is going to be the Jannetty. And when Miz wins the championship, he says to Morrison, "Hey, I'm not the Jannetty." And then Morrison strikes back. He's like, "I'm not the Jannetty either." Hey, but all in all,
nobody wants to be the Jannetty.
At least in the WWE world, he kind of is, like at least from what he devolved into, like just
right
in WWE anyway. So with Ring of Honor, I do hope we get to see a more serious side of him. And who knows, maybe it's coming in weeks. We'll get to that though. But we are seeing a more serious side of Blake Christian.
I love Blake
I love a heel Blake Christian. It's so fun. He's so good at it. And like I've said it before, where it's like his in-ring style is so conducive to a face reaction, but he's so good at still being able to balance the two.
And he's very good at, if he sees he's winning the crowd over, he immediately changes and will like taunt them and say something obnoxious to make sure that they're not on his side, because he doesn't want them on his side.
Or he'll tease doing a move that they want him to do and get him into it, and then no, you don't get what you want. He's
really good at that. He's really good at being an OG heel. Like that's the heel. You don't want to cheer for him. Like we giggle to ourselves because obviously we're heel marks and like, we market stuff like that, but we know, we're supposed to boo him and he's going to love every minute of us booing him. Like that's the point. I love him. Yeah. He's really great.
So good. So good. I do love I love the hype man with Commander. He's really fun in that role. Yeah. Like I didn't really get it at first because I was kind of like, are they just really putting him with almost every Hispanic talent there is? Like they're just gonna, but he really does bring something special to it. I dug his it was like he was cosplaying as a Spider-Man biker almost, but I dug it. Spider hype. There it is.
Spider hype. I love it.
That's what he was tonight. He was the spider hype.
From a web. No, we can't.
But Commander continues his streak. Commander continues to be a dominant force in the Ring of Honor roster. If they had a present Ring of Honor champion, I would almost think they were setting him up for that. If Kyle Fletcher was allowed in the country, you'd almost think that maybe Kyle Fletcher was being built up to beat Ethan Page, and then Commander's the next contender, just because he's one of the constants of every week now. Commander's the one there every week winning a big match.
We saw one champion on the show and they didn't even have a match. What is
and this is the second time we've seen that, and it's been the same same champion, Athena.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really
Athena,
wild.
Yeah, Athena's got Ring of Honor on her back. And this was no different, as she is still hungover from her big win over Nyla Rose, 2 out of 3 false table match, and she called a meeting of the minions and kind of just lets the world know how she feels.
This was one of the moments where I wish the crowd was more hype, because like she really needed that crowd. Like they tried, and you could tell there were people in the audience trying, but it was so quiet during her promo. Like it was like, come on, guys, get behind it a little bit. Like try.
Well, it's interesting you say that. And I don't know, maybe that's a bit of what got me thinking what I was thinking, but also I think a lot of the way Athena was presenting it and the content of her promo, it was once again a moment where I'm starting to thinking, wait a minute, is Athena still a heel? Like, what the fuck is going on anymore? Because I couldn't tell, because like the way she was talking and like the message she was sending and even the way she was going at Billy, I was almost like, wait a minute, maybe Athena was the heel the whole time and Nyla is a face. I don't know anymore. Like, what's happening? Somebody give me the script. Show me the script.
Well, let me tell you something. She's on my shit list right now, because how dare she yell at our girl Lexi? She yelled at her. I was like, I will kick this woman's butt. You leave Lexi alone. Just yelling at our girl.
Did we talk about like the chance that could happen? Like that Athena would just be mad at Lexi for no reason? Did we?
I don't know.
I
was hoping Lexi would like hit her with the microphone. That's what I was hoping.
Lexi's so good, but at the same time, but see, I think maybe that was another thing that kind of like that was kind of heelish, because Lexi, like we give her props every week. She's like the MVP of this show, where she does everything needed. She's a fantastic interviewer, and the fact that she's also kind of able to double with the minions and kind of advance this storyline and that storyline is just a credit to her. But now she's been given strict orders not to do that anymore. Do we see less of her interviewing people? Do we see less of her babysitting distraught Dalton? Is she strictly a minion from here on out?
I doubt it. I loved when Athena was like, my show, and Lexi's in the back like, her show.
Lexi's so good.
She's so good and so fun to watch.
Yeah. What did we think about I don't even know if it was like dissension, like it seemed like dissension, but then it almost just led to like her own brand of motivation for Billy Starks ahead of her next round matchup against Diamante. I thought it was interesting the way Athena addressed this, where first off, she kind of says what we've been saying, but as a negative, where it's like, I don't think they should have addressed it, but she basically says, beating Robin Renegade's not really anything to brag about.
Right.
Which is like, okay, dude, this is the first round of a tournament that is supposed to be a big deal, and commentary's been working their ass off to try and make the fact that anyone's in it mean something.
And Robin got an entrance, no?
I don't believe so.
Are you sure? I think Robin got an entrance.
I mean, I'm not positive only because you're making me doubt myself, but I'm pretty sure that she didn't get an entrance. I don't think so anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, that's really stupid. I don't know why they would do
I don't think I've actually ever seen a Robin Renegade entrance.
I feel like, I think she definitely did. I feel like they should make it that every single woman in this tournament is important. Like you said, they shouldn't have called that out saying that's not important. It is important because Robin Renegade was qualified to participate in this. And if she beat Billy Stark, she would have advanced. So that's like a big deal.
Right. So I feel like that was a miss where like that shouldn't have been in the script, shouldn't have been said.
Agreed.
Only reason for me to think of why they are saying it is if Athena is, like I said, if this is a heel, I don't know. I don't even want to say turn because, like I said, I don't know if she was ever face, but it almost just seems like this is a heel move right here. But then it kind of just turned into her trying to motivate Billy in like a weird bad mother type of way, where then it's kind of like, so wait, you mean to tell me you really think you can beat Diamante without me in your corner? Like, okay, wait a minute. You think you can win the whole thing? Like, yeah. Like, I'm curious as to where it goes, because we've said there's many times in this tournament where it does feel like this is Billy Stark's tournament to win.
Right. It's just a very confusing because it's conflicting statements, in my opinion.
Right. And it's like, is Athena genuine? Does she want Billy Starks to win so they're
Right.
both champions? So that it's the true minion takeover and everything she says about her group can stand true? Or is there a part of her that really does just want to be the queen bee, and queen bee is the only one that's allowed to shine?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a very weird way of doing it. I wish we had a match. Since she's the only champion on the card.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in certain instances, it's okay if she kind of just, especially with the way Athena's presence is. Like, she's just so good at being the queen bee, the head bitch in charge. So
That's
I feel
nice.
like sometimes when she's just walking, HBIC, it's okay. Miss Queen New York made it famous. We can pull it out. But she walks out with her title, with her microphone, and she runs the show. She doesn't need a match. Not everyone's worthy enough.
That's true. No, that's definitely true.
And I don't think it would bother us as much if we had another champion on the show.
And thinking back now, I mean, the most important thing for the women right now is the tournament. So we don't need to have matches of the champion, female champion at least.
Right. If they did, it would have to be somebody who lost in the first round anyway. And then it's kind of like, wait a minute, they just lost that tournament, but now they get a chance to beat the champ.
Right.
So it almost makes sense to not have her in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely made sense to get Taiji Ishimori in the ring. First time in 5 years we've seen him in Ring of Honor, and he faced off against the local wrestler Jacoby Watts. This was a fun one, but it was definitely the Ishimori show.
He's a scary looking dude. His mask was dope. I was like, this mask is so dope, but he's scary. He's like short and stocky and like jacked.
Yeah, no, he's a game changer. He's like a star maker and a star all in one.
Yeah,
you're right. His look is just very unique. It's very look at me. It's very get ready for a show.
Yeah, I was very I was excited to see him. We haven't seen him since I think the G1. That's the last time I saw. Like we saw him in person at G1 WrestleMania weekend, and what was that, 2019, like before the world ended?
Right.
Yeah, MSG. I can't remember anything anymore. All the years blend together. So it was nice seeing him again, because I feel like I haven't seen him on much.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that can put you away with almost any move, and I like how that's how it went down, and the commentary put that over also. You said his light up mask was just so cool.
So cool. What a good entrance. You need entrances, man. They're important. I don't care what anybody says. That shit's important.
And New Japan brings cool entrances to the table. So
100%. I've never seen a bad entrance with New Japan. Like they appreciate those entrances.
Yeah. And we've got another Bullet Club member in the show, in the fray. So we have to see what, if anything, that leads to in the future. He's a guy where I'd be surprised if we see him become a staple of Ring of Honor, as opposed to float around the AEW universe and kind of be a, every once in a while we get the treat of seeing him pop up in Ring of Honor. But yeah, this was a fun one. This one was kind of one of those where you tune in, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I get to see him tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that on the card. I was like, wait, is that the correct person? I looked at, I remembered him, but I was like, wait, he's gonna be on ROH? I was like, with it, like it.
Right. 100%. It's a tune. If I didn't know if I was watching Ring of Honor tonight, but then I looked at the Twitter page of Ring of Honor and I saw this, I would kind of be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me pop in. Let me check that match out.
Yeah. I have a mixed feeling when it comes to ROH promoting all the matches at once. I know AEW does it too. I have mixed feelings on it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is cool, just like this kind of match. But I don't know. Just I like being surprised too.
I don't. I mean,
it's a mix.
I like having. I mean, the truth is, like I said, we pointed this out before. Ring of Honor doesn't typically promote every single match on the show.
Right.
Usually, they put out like 4 or 5, and then you've got a few surprises. In this case, we got the whole card because it was only an hour long.
That was wild.
Yeah, I didn't see that
still
coming.
like, oh. Yeah. It was nice to see them promoting Supercard as much as they promote AEW all the time. I was like, oh, you're promoting your own show. I'm so proud of you.
I mean, well, this is what they do. Like, they don't promote the Ring of Honor show, but when it comes time for a pay-per-view, then it's heavy promotion time. Like, those are the only times we actually get stories, we actually get build up. So, yeah, I do appreciate the fact that they're taking advantage of the timing and they're going overdrive with promoting one of their bigger shows of the year.
Right.
That is a nice touch. And it's one of those things where, like, okay, wait a minute, maybe, because they do a lot of times, we'll have like random matches with like 6 people in it, or they'll come up with like, okay, you guys are fighting for this title shot or whatever, and they'll put a multi-man in. Taiji Ishimori could be a fun guy to get on the card.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of him. Definitely on the show.
Yeah.
I think he'll bring something to it.
Do you want to see more of Mike Seidel?
Yo, I saw Mike Seidel and I was like, who's this carbon copy of Matt? And they're like, he's his brother. And I was like, oh, good.
I love that. I love that.
I literally was like, freaking carbon copy. I was like, what is this shit? And then I was like, and then when Lee Johnson came out, I was like, oh, so now it's going to be 5 in a row wins. I like this. This is fun. Maybe him and Ethan Page will go against each other with all their undefeated streaks.
Right.
Or who gets the challenge, Kyle.
I mean, we saw Taya Valkyrie lose her streak, so Shadi Lee's got to keep his going.
Yeah. And Ethan Page. Remember him? Where is he?
I mean, he's with his daughter getting a new jacket made.
Oh, his daughter's making the jacket?
I think his daughter designed the jacket.
Maybe his son will have something to do with it too.
Like he'll put a sticker on it.
Yeah. Yeah, this match was cool. It was fine, but they're just like, it's just to show off Lee Johnson and like keep his streak going, and that's fine.
They don't really have plans other than, hey, Shadi Lee, we want you to win. We want people to like you.
I'm only calling him Lee Johnson because I hate Big Shotty. I hate it.
Big Shotty?
I hate it. I don't know why. I hate it so much.
Why do you hate it?
I don't know. It just sounds silly.
What if there was like a touching story behind it?
Then I would be behind it.
Like his dad's name was Shotty.
Yeah, all right. That's fine.
And everyone called him Big Shotty, and he's like,
yeah,
I got
that's fine. Yeah. And then I'd be behind it. I'd be like, this is still a stupid name, but I can get behind it.
I'm sure that's not the case. I completely
know.
That up. But I hope it's the case now. Like, I hope there is a touching story behind it that makes you say, okay, I forgive you.
Just tweet at him and ask him.
Big Shotty.
Be like, hey, why do they call you Big Shotty? And I hope it's something ridiculous.
I mean, I feel like even if it's not, if you
I
ask
couldn't say my R's
blank,
when I was a child, so I said Shotty.
Right. Like, if you ask somebody a question like, hey, why do they call you Big Shotty? I think you're begging for a ridiculous answer. Like, even if the answer was
something beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't
know. Speaking of something beautiful, our main event was a beautiful disaster. As we see, okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
So first off, it said main event, and I was like, am I missing something? I was like, oh, we're main eventing. Then I was like, was there an agreement? When did Dalton Castle say, yes, okay, I'm going to have a match with you? Did I miss this?
Yes, you missed that.
When was it?
Like, this is what I thought had happened all along, where like as soon as Johnny TV said that we would face for the boys, like that was what happened. Where like,
but that's not how he worded it.
I agree with you. The wording was very confusing to us. But like I said, Johnny TV Dalton Castle giving up the boys just to face Johnny TV would have made zero sense. It would have been
100%. I agree with you. Right. But he didn't accept the challenge either to fight with him for the boys.
No, I think he did because he was addicted to the idea of smashing his face.
When?
It happened. It happened off screen.
I love. Go whatever.
well, let's talk about what I love. I loved the cameo we got during distraught Dalton's entrance.
Oh,
where he
yeah.
is distraught, but then Jack Jameson and the Iron Savages come out, give him the sauce, that sweet elixir fixer, and he snaps back into the old Dalton again.
Okay, so I have a problem with this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, it's not an uh-oh situation. First of all, I love that they called it the custody battle. That was cracking me up so much. I don't know why.
The ref raising the hands of the boys.
Yeah, saying the custody battle. I love that the Iron Savages were part of this. I just wish they didn't come out during the entrance. I wish we got distraught Dalton fighting Johnny TV in the match, and then they came out and gave him the sauce, and then he changed his whole demeanor of fighting. Giving it to him in the beginning, it didn't make sense. It was just weird to me, except when he raised his peacock things and they were straight instead of him flopping down. But I mean, it didn't. I don't know. I think during the match it would have been, but like he's struggling and they run out and give like Popeye his spinach, you know?
I disagree. I disagree.
It's okay.
Because I thought that them doing it during the entrance, and all of a sudden you see the Dalton that we haven't seen in what feels like months already. You get the entrance we haven't gotten in months already. I feel like that did kind of give people the thought process of like, wait a minute, we got Dalton back. He might win this thing. Like, this might be it. Also, fast forward to the end where Dalton, of course, loses. Johnny TV takes the boys away. There's a chance we never see them together again. There's a chance we don't ever see this Dalton again. So the sauce making the appearance in the entrance allows us one final time of Dalton confidently walking the stairs that is the boys, confidently bringing up his peacock feathers, confidently getting feathered with the boys. We get it one last time. We get to ride the ride.
There's no way this is the last time we're seeing it. First, also, Johnny TV dragging one of the boys and then Taya picking him up and throwing him over the shoulder and walking out. That was so beautifully done. It was like I was cracking up. I was like,
yeah, no, that was so funny.
But I knew Johnny TV was going to win. Like, I was happy about the sauce, but then since Taya lost her match, I knew Johnny was going to win. Right. Yeah. Also, I'm surprised they didn't keep this for Supercard. Like, this would be a good match unless they're leading up to it where Dalton gets the boys back for Supercard.
Right. It's interesting because when he did lose, I was kind of like, okay, so they're setting us up for like the rematch or the next chapter for Supercard. But I'm also kind of wondering what fun Johnny TV can have with the boys now. Like, do we see a different version of the boys? Does he make the boys do the same thing? Are the boys going to do the slow motion Johnny TV entrance? Are the boys going to fan Johnny TV? What's Johnny TV going to make the boys do? Are the boys going to get thrown to his wife and they become the wife of the boys of the wife?
I will tell you, I will not appreciate if they're coming out and he's like kicking them and like forcing them to do stuff. I'm not going to be happy about that. This is going to make me sad, and I'm not going to like it.
I mean, what if the boys get brainwashed and they actually get into it? What if Johnny TV and Taya give the boys a makeover because they want to make them TV ready?
I hate everything about this.
It's possible.
No, I hate it.
These are all things that can happen. What if they take them to a very expensive store for a very expensive makeover, give them brand new look? They hire a stylist, and who's that stylist? It's Dalton Castle in disguise, trying to get his boys back.
Oh my god! I hope they do a whole series of him being in disguise because that's fucking hilarious.
Like they're trying to make him TV ready. They go to all these different places, and Dalton Castle,
and he's just dressed up as different things. Yeah, like today he could be Mr. Leap Year. Yeah, that'd be freaking hilarious. He should have came out as Mr. Leap Year. That would have been hilarious.
Would it be all like bad costumes? You think the
Yeah, of
same thing, like
course.
just a mustache,
Yeah.
and he'd still be
Yeah,
wearing
like they're
the
gonna cut
wrestling
his
gear?
hair and he comes out and he has like a mustache and like a monocle. And then one he has a top hat, and then he has like a blonde toupee. This is great. I love this.
I hope this happens.
It has to happen. We're manifesting it right now. One thing I did appreciate about after Dalton lost and the boys are getting dragged off commentary, I really have to give it to them. They were like quiet. And
Yeah, no,
somber
they
and, like,
had their
talking
somber
very
voice on,
quietly
yeah.
and being like very upset that Dalton wasn't with the boys anymore. And I really love that. It really sold it. It really, like, I was really sad.
They were
Also,
like, where does he go from here? Where do we go from here?
yeah, it was some sad stuff. Yeah. Also, the crowd was weird. Like they were chanting. Whoa, they were chanting for Johnny TV, but not chanting for, and then chanting for Dalton. It was a very confusing crowd. This is awesome chants at one point. I was like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. I mean,
I was very confused on the crowd. I guess, like we said, like the crowd for ROH is like mixed because they film it after and people are probably tired and like
after shows, you're filming it before shows.
Right.
It's yeah, it's just like a weird vibe, weird experience. At the same time, I do feel like they don't always know the matches that are going to happen. So a lot of times
Right.
it is kind of a welcome surprise where you're like, oh, wait a minute, I came for AEW, but I get to see Dalton Castle on Johnny TV. Okay. So like sometimes you get a great crowd that's just kind of super shocked and surprised to get a great match. And sometimes you just kind of like get a tired crowd that already got a show. And it's kind of like,
I will say Dalton Castle, I feel, is a hidden treasure. Like if you hadn't watched ROH, like we used to go to ROH shows all the time. So we're very familiar with Dalton Castle. You forget what a treasure he is. And like, if you don't know him, like after watching him, you should realize what a treasure he is to ROH and what a like staple he is to ROH because he's so fantastic. He's such an original like gimmick. He's just so fun to watch on all levels. Even Distraught Dalton is like fun.
Yeah.
Like, you just root for this guy no matter what.
Yeah, no, it's like they gave him a program on, like we've said, kind of like the D show, hey, we're going to put you on Ring of Honor and you're going to work with Giant TV. And they have come together to make this like one of the reasons to watch the show. This is one of the few stories that they tell on the show every single week.
And it's a good story.
Yeah, and every single week they take us on a ride. Johnny TV getting the boys is a new wrinkle. As I did say, it would have made a little more sense or just would have been a little better if we hadn't seen the boys get subbed out like once or twice in the past 2 months. Like randomly.
Yeah, I remember us talking about
and
that.
And then they address it, dude. Like that's weird, especially if within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're about to do a storyline based around him losing this ever so precious bond that he has.
Yeah, it was a very weird,
but either way, we still felt it. The tears built up. They came.
Yeah, I was sad.
I'm a big fan of the boys. I think Dalton Castle is what he is because of the boys. The boys really elevate his character and elevate him.
I don't know, other than 6-man tag action, if the boys will ever truly be able to be elevated with Dalton Castle, though.
Right.
They do fantastic managerial work, from the feathers to the jumping to the feeding to the getting the crowd involved to the stairs. Like everything they do is next level. It's top notch. But I don't know what it is, whether it's because of the fact that they are called the boys and commentary is usually fumbling over which one is who, whether it's because they wear masks, whether it's because they randomly get subbed in and out once in a while. But it does kind of seem like this is a very limiting role, as good of a job as they do at it. So I wonder if maybe, as much as we don't want to see it, or maybe we just don't want to see it, maybe them becoming TV ready with Johnny TV and with Taya Valkyrie, or at the very least, even if they don't end up sticking with Johnny TV, if Johnny TV kind of just poisons their mind to the point where Dalton Castle wins a match with Johnny TV at Supercard of Honor, wins the boys back, but then the boys turn on Dalton Castle.
Stop! Don't put that out in the fucking universe.
But
No.
maybe that's how the boys actually come out of this as winners. Maybe that's what's needed, the necessary evil. Do we want the boys to succeed on their own? Or do we want them to be staircases and seats and featherers for their entire careers?
The latter.
Wow.
What?
How dare you sentence them to a life of feathering? They deserve
Maybe
more.
it's easy for them.
No, I want to see them achieve success. And I think they'll do it.
All right, I guess.
But listen, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to tune in next week and the week after that and see where this takes us. Distraught Dalton will be distraught once again next week when we tune in. That's for sure. He's going to be hiding in broom closets. He's going to have cheese in his suit. Lexi's going to have to resist, apparently.
I know. How is Lexi going to help him?
Nobody's going to be able to help him. Maybe that's another wrinkle in this story of Dalton Castle. He's losing everyone. He's lost the boys, and now he's lost Lexi as well.
Oh, that's sad.
Soon he loses his will to live.
Oh my God.
You know, like live within the universe.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We know this show's getting shorter, just like Ring of Honor is getting shorter. We need them to give us the stuff, and then we'll give it to you. But as for now, we are here to talk to you about Ring of Honor every single Thursday night as soon as it ends. If it ends at 8:30, we'll be here at 8:30. If it ends at 9, we'll be here at 9. When that show ends, this show begins. Just like every single Sunday, you can catch us at the Heel Marks. Follow us everywhere at the Heel Marks. Follow this network at BodySlam. Follow the entire BodySlam.net network. As always, do not forget to give your donations to slamchats.com. They are appreciated by everyone at the network. Guys, you are the best. We're just trying to be like you. Never forget, we're not just smart marks. We're Heel Marks.